Hey guys, Colby here. Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. We've got Deliana. Finally, the Deliana champion chase has just been launched. I'm guessing because it's just now that I see it on my account. I should see it on my free-to-play as well. So 7 days, you get a free legendary champion. We'll look at the skills of this free legendary that we all get. And let me just pick up this 5-star accuracy piece set, which is nothing amazing, but for the free-to-play and the people who don't really farm, let's say even dragon 13 really, where the chances are higher for better gear, these 6-star pieces will be coming in handy, at least if they roll well, because if they roll bad, it's just gonna be like a sold item immediately. So I've just logged into the account for the day. I was playing on the free-to-play mostly. All right, so let's just go and have a look at Deliana. She should be now available in the high elves index. Let's have a look at her overall. Look at how amazing she looks. She reminds me a lot of Lysandra, but with more electricity, right? More electricity. And also maybe, who else? I would say Yannicka, maybe. No, I guess it's because of the shine there. Anyway, let's have a look at the skills. She's a Force Legendary Champion, HP based, and she's gonna be more of a support instead of just an HP based champion. I guess because of the high base HP that she does have, like 20,000 health. Isn't that low? But it's lower, I would say, for an HP based champion from what I remember for other HP based champions. Let's have a look at the A1. Leech debuff as an AoE attack. Also, look at that. Attacks all enemies. Has a 50% chance of placing a leech debuff for 2 turns. That is pretty good. The reason for the A1, it's an AoE. It's gonna be very good for both the Hydra, but in overall dungeons, it's gonna be applying the leech on everybody, assuming you don't do like a weak hit. You will need a good amount of accuracy, though, of course, to always land that leech, and a 60% chance with booked is not that bad. So 3 books there. Then we got 4 books in the A2, so 7 overall. Withering, scored and taxed one enemy, 75% chance of placing a 50% decreased resistance debuff for 2 turns. That's a single person attack, by the way. So not that great, but it's still gonna work for that one target that you wanna hit. If the target's under the block buffs debuff, also applies the debuff spread effect. Nice. Okay, taking any decreased resistance debuff on the target and then placing it on all enemies. So ideally you'll do this after you do your A3, which I'm guessing the A3 is going to be a block buffs, and then you'll be spreading the decreased resistance to everybody else that has a block buffs debuff as well. So it's going to be very solid in terms of the requirement that you need for applying your debuff. So the decreased resistance, what it does is, if they've got 400, it's going to make it 200. If they go 300, it's going to make it 150. So that's how it works. So the A3, know your place. 4 turn cooldown when fully booked, another 5 books there. So we're looking at 3 plus 4, 7, and another 5. That's 12. Do we have anything on the passive? No. 12 books overall. Not low, not very high. We've seen a much higher amount of legendary books required for other champions. Anyway, tax all enemies, 75% chance of placing a block buffs debuff on each enemy for 2 turns, goes 100% when booked, I'm guessing. Yeah. Heals all allies by 5% of their max HP for each block buffs debuff placed by this skill. That's just pretty huge, but it's on their max HP, so it's not on hers. She's an HP based champion. She'll be just doing more damage based on the HP that she does have. The heal is pretty huge, basically, because if you land it on, let's say, 4 or 5 targets, then it's a 25% heal for those allies. But again, very long cooldown, I would say, 4 turns. So she's not really a support with a 4 turn cooldown for just the block buffs and a big heal. The block buffs is a very long duration, though, in terms of cooldown. So I don't know if this is gonna be replacing, let's say, Ugo in the Hydra, because Ugo does have a shorter cooldown on the block buffs. This one doesn't have such a short cooldown. A 4 turn cooldown is not good. You will not be rotating through your skills so much. Even with the fill champion determinator by 10% for each of the block buffs, debuff, attempt, blocked, or resisted by the enemy team. So even if they resist or something, you get some turn meter up to, let's say, 50%. If nothing lands, then you get a 50% boost, which is nice, I guess. That's nice. It can be something. 50%, that's assuming you get very unlucky and you have like 0 accuracy on your champion. But yeah, I don't like the very long cooldown. I would have loved if this was a 4, it goes to 3 turns cooldown. It makes more sense. It depends on the multiplier. She's HP based. I don't think she's gonna be nuking hard. I don't even know about her multipliers. Increases this champion's accuracy by 2 for every 1000 HP on this champion. Okay, let's say you get her to that 70,000 health that you can get on HP based champions. She's got a lower base, so it's gonna be a little bit difficult. So 70,000 health, that's gonna be what, 140, right? 140 accuracy. That's pretty solid for 70,000 health. So you don't really have to worry so much about accuracy on her, because she looks like she's gonna be a Hydra champion. It just means that you'll run that 80,000 health and then about 200 accuracy on her, and then she's gonna be gaining another 150 or so from this passive, right? Yeah, that's what it looks like. Places 25% strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns every time this champion's HP drops below 50%. So of course this is conditional on how many hits she gets. So if you put her with more health and less defense, so you don't go crazy on defense, 2,500 let's say, and you maximize HP, she'll be dropping to that 50% mark more often. But again, the strengthen buff does have a 4 turn cooldown, so it kind of sucks. The passive effect, no, it doesn't have a cooldown. I wish they had a way to separate these, or just have 2 passives here, so that one is a passive and one is an active, so you have the cooldown. It doesn't confuse anybody. But the 4 turn cooldown on the strengthen is alright. There's no champion skins, and she's got an aura in all battles for 33% health. For a free champion, she is the better, of course, better than Alexander was for 100%. I think she is a little bit worse than Ninja, because Ninja is like an MVP in terms of damage potential. Deliana though is a big support. I don't like the cooldowns, the long cooldowns. She'll have to be used in a relentless set, I would say, for Hydra. The reason for that is exactly the reason we all use the relentless sets in Hydra, is because we want to get those rotations going much quicker. And I'll just give you an example of my supports that I use it. Like my damage dealers all have a relentless set. My Geomancer, one of them has reflex, the other relentless. I've got 3 royal guards, one of them is with relentless, I think. No, 2 of them. So you want to have that rotation of skills and plus the high stats. A good comparison, of course, is Ugo with this champion. So is this a legendary version of Ugo? My Ugo is pretty fast and works for the Nightmare Hydra. I do a 1 key with this one, 70,000 health, 280 speed, 390 accuracy. And as I said, since she'll be gaining that extra accuracy from her passive, she just needs basically this much less accuracy, so she can focus on other stuff like speed, resistance, and HP. But the problem is the cooldown of the block buffs. The block buffs is not 3 turns, it's 4 turns. That being said, the Hydra will also be nerfed. So the annoying head that that does all the things with the buffs and the spreading of the buffs will be nerfed to a 3 turn cooldown. So that might also help overall. And just because of that passive, I highly like Deliana, right? I just need to actually play the champion. So in about 6 days, when she's actually available to every one of us, she'll be play tested for sure. I haven't checked on the test server on Raid to see if she's available for everyone, but if she is, I will be posting a video as soon as I can with an actual showcase, especially for Hydra in lower difficulties, where that's the point really, to help players get introduced into Hydra, and especially with the lower difficulties and everything. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.